Welcome to the Pro Tools 8 Kit, the complete professional workflow for music production. Brought to you by Focal Press and Pro Tools 101 authors Chris Basile and Rob Szymanski. In this module, Recording, we begin the recording process using Pro Tools 8 LE and Apple OS X Leopard. Getting started with Pro Tools 8 LE. Your first step when starting the recording process is to plan out what it is you are going to do. This way you can prep your session, use templates if needed, and get Pro Tools ready to record audio or MIDI session data, whether for a live band, a solo artist, or to record a simple podcast. The new Quick Start dialog opens the door to many session templates that are extremely helpful in getting the new Pro Tools user up and running. For example, picking simply a guitar template opens a world of functionality. You now have an instrument track with a pre-programmed musical piece that you can quickly work into your music. Or, make each piece for your session separately. For Pro Tools 8, simply launch and pick a template out of the Quick Start dialog you wish to use. You can choose a large session with 24 pre-configured tracks ready to go, or use a guitar template, podcast template, or choose from many others. If you find you need to record from tracks you make yourself, you can easily use the track menu. Now you can build any number of tracks and open them all at once. Creating them in bulk saves you time if you know what you need to create. Next, configure the OS X preferences if you need to. You can open the preferences found within the Apple menu. You can disable indexing, spotlight, dashboard, and any other settings that may conflict with your session, such as energy settings. Once you have made these settings changes, you can then configure your playback engine. Since you are going to be recording, latency will be an issue for those wanting to punch in or when playing back your audio. Because of this, you will want to configure low latency monitoring. You can also adjust your playback engine for a smaller hardware buffer size, such as 256 or 512. This can keep your system stable. If you find that you are still experiencing issues, such as a system crash, you may need to increase your hardware resources. You may also need to make some adjustments to your hardware configuration. Such as an external word clock as an example. Lastly, your hard disk needs to be record ready. Simply open up the workspace and you can check it, set it, or change it. If you find that you cannot, you may need to reformat your disk using the appropriate file system. Now you are ready to record. You can record either audio or MIDI. These final steps are critical to recording. You'll need to know how to use playlists, configure your input and output, or I/O, as well as working with new features such as track compositing and the score editor. When recording, you will find that every tool helps, especially when trying to keep a productive session moving along. When preparing for the recording process, you should make sure that your system remains stable. You can be proactive and check it with usage indicators. You will also need to know how to operate the different recording modes, the basics of audio and MIDI recording, how to configure your I/O, and configure a click track. To get started, configure both the system usage and disk usage indicators. Both can provide you with a very handy way of seeing how much your DAW is eating up your system resources. Since your workflow depends on it, it's recommended that you use these tools, especially when recording your work. Next, you can configure to record audio. Likely, you'll have a few microphone types to work with, such as a condenser, dynamic, and ribbon. Remember that high quality, tested cables should be used for optimal sound reproduction. Also, make sure your instruments and other gear are of quality and have been taken care of. Setup is also critical, where you will be configuring drums, amplifiers, cabinets, microphone stands, and many other components in which to run cable to and from. Do not forget to adjust your recording modes. Before you arm your tracks and get started, make sure that you are either in non-destructive or punch record mode. Use destructive if you want to save space and aren't concerned about losing your work, and use loop when you want to record over a specific length of time over and over again, such as when comping tracks. Now arm your tracks to get started recording. MIDI recording is very similar. You will need to configure and arm your track the same way as audio, but you will likely be using a MIDI controller, such as a key station, to write your music. You can easily write your MIDI data using the pencil tool or using the new MIDI editor found within Pro Tools 8 LE. The MIDI editor allows you to quickly and easily adjust just about any aspect of your controller data, such as velocity, panning, and more. When working with DigiDesign hardware, such as the MBox 2 family and the 003 family of audio interfaces, you'll be given strict guidelines as to how many connections you will make and where and how you route them. You will also have to adjust levels. You can select the interface and connect it with a direct connection or DI, connect your patch cable in, open a plug-in and start recording guitar without the use of an amp or a cabinet. Using inserts, such as plugins, allow for the addition of effects when mixing, or allow the use of a plugin for the recording process. You can also route your signal to and through an auxiliary track for additional processing. This way you can run multiple tracks through a single instance of a plugin, therefore reducing the load incurred from running the same plugin multiple times over many tracks. Finally, make your click track and you can get ready to hit record. To configure your click, you will need to quantize your drums against the time-based ruler. Using a click track helps set the BPM, or beats per minute, and gives the player an accurate example to follow with. Recording with playlists is important to giving you the ability to try different takes of your work and strive to get the best one without having to create new tracks each time. By creating a new playlist on a track, you can quickly work through each take and find the one that is best for your song or work. Getting the best take may take some time, so be patient. You can also adjust the volume, panning, or other settings directly below the track. This way, you can make quick adjustments. If you set the track to playlist, you can even configure sublanes to capture multiple playlists all at once. This is called track compositing. Loop recording is key to track compositing because what you will want to do is save time making playlists manually. By loop recording and the track compositing feature with Pro Tools 8, you now get multiple playlists and then audition each one for the perfect take. To configure track compositing, first, go to the Setup menu, Preferences, Operation tab, select Automatically Create New Playlists when loop recording. Next, you need to configure loop recording if you want to record a section a few times to get a bunch of takes. To configure, hold down the Control key and click on the Record button in the main transport in the Edit window. Once loop recording is selected, arm the track. We learned about the MIDI editor and how it helps you view, record, and edit your MIDI controller data. When looking to write music in composition form, you will want to try the Score editor. A third-party tool available to further compose your work would be Sibelius. which Pro Tools 8 LE exports to natively.